What's up, bros and broettes? I'm Inkslasher, and welcome to Evolution, the series where we look at the history of Call of Duty. And in this series, we've looked at many things. We've looked at game modes, weapons, but today we're looking at a specific map, arguably one of the most popular Call of Duty maps of all time, and that map would be Nuketown. Now in this video, we're specifically going to be looking at a few different things. The first of which is the difference in designs of the few different Nuketown maps. On top of that, we're going to be looking at the secret inspiration behind the original design of Nuketown. And on top of that, talking about the evolution of different Easter eggs that have been put on every single Nuketown map. So if that sounds like something you'll enjoy, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And if you do enjoy the video, it would be fantastic if you could hit that like button. Nuketown originated in Black Ops 1, and since then we've seen this map in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. And at this point, by many, it is considered a staple in all of Treyarch's games. Now, this map has a huge emphasis on close quarters combat, and is definitely one of the smallest maps in all of Call of Duty games. It's a map compared a lot of the time to a map like Shipment from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, or even Rust from Modern Warfare 2. Now the question is why is Nuketown so popular? Some people may say that it's the tiny map that makes people really love it and stand out amongst the other maps, or other people may say it's the very unique design of this map. And the aesthetic of the normal Nuketown is this. It's a 1950s style suburb that's used as a nuclear test facility. And of course, at the end of every map, there's the iconic nuke that goes off right at the very end. Now in Black Ops 1, the interesting thing about this map is a couple of things. First of all, the color scheme of this map is very different than every other multiplayer map in Black Ops 1. On top of that, when we go to the map, you can see 1950s styles buildings, cars, and even mannequins to kind of interpret what people would be like in a nuclear explosion. But believe it or not, this idea for this map wasn't an original idea for the Treyarch studio. They actually stole the idea from a movie. So the story goes like this. DJ Vandahar, the guy we've come to know and love, was sitting down one day and decided to watch the movie Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, in the beginning of this movie, Indiana Jones finds himself in the middle of a nuclear test facility that's stylized in the 1950s. Almost identical to that we see in the map Nuketown. On top of that, this town was fitted with mannequins, cars, and completely stylized to look like the 1950s. The next day, Vandahar comes into work and says, "Team, what we've got to do is create this exact thing." And comparing the two, you can really see the similarities, even to the point where the bomb drops in Indiana Jones. Now guess what? It didn't take one day, it didn't take a week, it didn't take a month for them to make this map. Took 2 days. So one of the most iconic and loved Call of Duty maps was made in 2 days. Now we will come back and look at some Easter eggs on this map, but the next thing that we're actually going to look at is the next map in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. This map was known as Nuketown 2025. When Black Ops 2 was released, Nuketown 2025 was used as a pre-order bonus for an incentive for people to pre-order the game. And as far as the design of the map go, they didn't really change anything playstyle wise. They didn't block off any lines of sight or really change the map whatsoever. What they did change is the overall aesthetic of this map. No longer did it look like a 1950s town, they rather went with a 1960s theme. However, this was weird because this was supposed to represent homes in 2025. Basically, this 1960s style town was supposed to represent the home of the future, the way homes were going to be in 2025. Now, of course, just like in the original Nuketown, at the end of a game, a nuke would still go off, hence the name of the map, Nuketown. And of course, one of the signature staples of this map designs that were to stay in here were the mannequins. Similarly, in Black Ops 3, we'd see more mannequins with a bit different of a style. This Nuketown was supposed to take place in 2065 and was even more futuristic than the previous map we saw in Black Ops 2. One additional change that they made to this map is they actually made it slightly larger than the other two maps because, of course, in Black Ops 3 we have a 3D movement system, and because of this they also added in several places that you could actually use to wall run from one side of the map to the other that weren't originally in the Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 version of Nuketown. Another big difference of this map compared to the other two is that this map that you're playing on is actually a simulation put on by the Coalescence Corporation. In fact, every single map that you play in Black Ops 3 isn't an actual battle. You are in a simulator playing as your respective soldiers. And I know if you've never heard that before, that's a pretty big game changer, but I have made videos on that before, and that's not what this video is about. Now, even though this map is a simulation, they still end off every single map with Nuketown's signature explosion. Now, the last but probably biggest thing we have to talk about in this video is the Easter eggs that take place on the different Nuketown maps. Reason being is because they kind of cross over between the different games, as you guys will see. And on top of that, there's a lot of them. Now, the first Easter egg we're going to talk about is the Mailboxes. Now, if you've never played the Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 campaign, the two kind of major characters in these campaigns are Mason and Woods. And each of the mailboxes on Nuketown show the names Mason and the other one Woods. Similarly, on Nuketown 2025, once again, if you go and check out the mailboxes, they once again say the same thing, Mason and Woods. However, if you've never played Black Ops 3's campaign, Mason and Woods aren't really in the campaign. However, two main characters that are Hendrix and Corvus. Now, there is more of a background behind these two characters that I'm not going to go into because it kind of totally spoils the main campaign, but just know that these are two of the main characters in Black Ops 3's campaign. And on Nuketown in Black Ops 3, the mailboxes say Hendrix and Corvus. Now, this isn't really an Easter egg, but it's part of the design of the map. In Black Ops 1, there was actually a little hole in the fence in either of the spawns that you were actually able to drive an RC car through, and in doing so, were able to flank the RC car around your enemies and possibly get more kills with it. Similarly, this was also in Black Ops 2 in pretty much the exact same manner, however, was completely removed in Black Ops 3. They never really said why, and I don't think anyone really knows why. All we know is it's not there. Now, the next Easter egg is one that has remained through every single evolution of the Nuketown maps, and that is the Nuketown sign itself. Now, every single one of these Nuketown signs looks different, but one thing that they all have in common is a population count, and this population count directly relates to the amount of people that are actually playing in the game. So if there's 6 people that are in the game, the sign will say 6. If there's 13 people in the game, it'll say 13. And this little Easter egg has remained there in every evolution of the Nuketown map. Now, on Black Ops 3's Nuketown, there are a ton of Easter eggs that just pay homage to the older Nuketown maps. For example, in one of the buildings, we can see here little figurines of the old mannequins back from the old Nuketown maps. Similarly, on the other side of this building, you can see the old Nuketown sign. And finally, if you go to the computer screen in the middle of the map, you can see both names of the old Nuketown maps listed here on the computer screen. And last but definitely not least, we have the Mannequins Easter eggs. And on every single variation of Nuketown, there is an Easter egg that has to do with the mannequins. Of course, this all began in Black Ops 1 with an interesting Easter egg that was very hard to complete. What it was is if you could shoot all the heads off the mannequins on and outside the map in less than 15 seconds, you would hear a song play. Now, the song's name was Sympathy for the Devil. It's a song by the Rolling Stones that I'm sure many of you have heard before. I'm not really sure why they chose this song to play, whether they had some deal with the Rolling Stones or maybe one of the developers just really liked that song. I'm not really sure, but this was actually a pretty hard Easter egg to complete because there was about 30 mannequins that you had to shoot within the first 15 seconds, which meant that you had to get a whole team to be able to complete this. Sometimes you may need even people on the other team to shoot some of the mannequins on the other side of the map, and because of this, not many people were actually able to complete this one. And I think because of this, in Black Ops 2, they made the Easter egg a little bit easier. This time, all of the mannequins except for 1 or 2 were located inside the map, and if once again you shot off all of their heads, this time within 2 minutes, something would change about the Nuketown sign. All of a sudden, the Nuketown sign would become an arcade machine, and you could actually play 4 different old Activision arcade games. Now, these different games that you could play on the little TV here included Pitfall 2, Hero, River Raid, and Kaboom. These are all old arcade games made by Activision. And finally, we've got the Nuketown Black Ops 3 Easter egg, and there's actually 2 of them. The first of which is if you once again shoot off all of the mannequins' heads within 2 minutes, the mannequins come alive and actually attack you. But there was also another one that people actually didn't find out about right away. This one was if you shot off all of the arms and the heads of the mannequins within 2 minutes, which was of course a little bit more difficult, the mannequins would once again come alive, but only move if you were not looking at them. This is actually a separate Easter egg itself from the TV show Doctor Who. It's known as the Weeping Angels Easter egg. And guys, that's pretty much all you need to know about the evolution of Nuketown. We talked about how it originated from the movie Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. We talked about all of the Easter eggs and the overall design of the 3 maps, but now you can let me know what you think down in the comment section below. On top of that, if you enjoyed the video, it would be greatly appreciated if you could hit that like button and let me know what you'd like me to cover next on the Evolution series. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
Maybe you should take it slow.